welcome to the Padded Room. This is number 6. 6.
Yay.
Yeah.
And for the first time since the first one, we are without. I've got pop-up screens that are coming in front of me for no apparent reason.
Porn ads?
You just stop.
I see the rails starting to fail.
It's like, yeah, the
We're
rails
not
are
even on the
already going
station
on.
yet,
I
man.
know. It's what the hell's going on. But anyway, for the first time since the first episode, we are without our UK contingent. Ricky Fleet couldn't make it because he was sick. I tried to get a hold of Jamie and Lee, and when I did, he was on his way out to the pub. So we are without our UK contingent. Now, I don't have a fuzzy coat like Ricky does, but
No.
I can show a little Damian Lee.
There we go.
There
you go. Hang
we
on.
got the love going.
Hold up.
All right, so today with us we have the usual suspects, me, Jack, Jen. We have Angel coming in. We have Dungeon Dan coming back. And we have the man, the mystery, the texter extraordinaire, Tim Brooks with us as well.
Glad to be here. Glad y'all having me.
And we are
Good to have
glad
you.
Yep,
Welcome in, man. Welcome
Glad
in.
to be here as well.
I hope your straight jacket fit good, wasn't too snug. So
I
now,
have no
what is
idea
the
what
topic?
that means.
Starting
It's
already.
Today's
the
topic.
padded room.
Oh, hang on.
I gotta try to make
Here we
it
go.
make sense. All right,
We got-
let's
yeah.
wait for Tim.
Pew.
We've got
Going
mad,
off the wheels already.
we've got Chihuahua insanity. Probably a massacre going on. Anyway, the topic for today, yapping dogs notwithstanding, the topic for today is cult classics in both film and fiction. So, oh shit, you've got to see.
Ah, the cuffs.
Uh-oh.
This should be good.
This is kind of like having Ricky here.
And that is work related.
So we're apparently heading towards a bondage episode. I don't know how that happened. But
Jeff is like, I don't know why I signed myself up to.
anything is possible here. So, since you're brand new, visually anyway, Tim, you start off and tell us about one of your favorite cult classics.
It's gonna have to be, and it's about an actor we just lost this week, Fred Ward.
Oh yes.
Yeah, I heard about him.
And naturally Remo Williams and Tremors.
Naturally.
But have you seen the one Cast a Deadly Spell?
I just
Yes,
watched it like
absolutely.
a week and a half ago.
Yes, that movie. I forget when it came out, probably in the 90s.
Something like that, yeah.
And it's because it's the whole late 40s detective thing,
Mhm.
magic works, and it's got the Cthulhu mythos thrown into it.
Mhm.
Love
And
Cthulhu.
it's just a great all-around movie. I bought my own copy of it.
Mhm.
I've got a DVD of it, and I actually bought it on Amazon Prime so I can go back and watch it either way if I want to.
There you go.
And to me, that's just a great cult movie.
And I love the fact that they never explained why magic works.
Yeah.
They just said it does.
And, and one of the greatest lines in the movie is when he's talking to the old guy who runs the boarding house.
Mhm.
Because they got the little gremlins in his car, and he said, when we came back from World War I, all we brought back was a clap. Now these guys bring back, they come back with gremlins, And it's just a great movie, and that's just a great cult classic in my opinion.
Mhm.
And I think everybody needs to watch it.
Oh, wow.
Yep. Okay, Jen.
Well, I've got a few. I think mine are more newer, however.
Mhm.
I, of course, like The Craft, which to me is a newer one.
Hmm.
The
Not
new-
really.
It's got a
Draft
remake
is pretty
already.
old.
Mhm.
It is actually, yeah. I guess it was 96, maybe a little bit before then.
Yeah, that's actually technically old these days.
Yeah,
Oh.
right.
Much
Just
like
like I'm
us.
technically old. Now.
Anything pre 2000 is definitely old.
That
Oh,
means I'm
God.
old too. Thanks, Jack.
You're a
Well-
kid, man. Shut up, Angel.
Yeah, exactly, Angel. Shut up.
Well,
Freaking
you
kid.
just said
was-
anything before 2000. So
That was one of my favorites, along with like the remake of The Evil Dead.
Oh yeah.
That was
Really
great.
like the remake of The Evil Dead. So
Actually,
those,
I loved it. I was just so against it, and I was also against the remake of Dawn of the Dead. Both
Yeah.
of them.
And both turned out great.
Yeah, they came in really good.
Yeah,
Dawn
for
of the
me-
Dead 10. I still haven't allowed myself to watch the remake of.
Oh,
Evil
Jeff, you
Dead.
got to.
You
You,
gotta
you
see
need
it,
to.
man.
You need to.
It-
The makeup
Well, I
effects.
I can't see it without Bruce Campbell.
I know.
I know, but man, it's worth it. I
It
even went to
is.
the movie theater when it first came out to see it.
It has a different feel. Think, just to make you feel better, think Multiverse of Madness. You're just in
Okay.
a different universe, having the exact same scenario happen, but it's a little different.
I remember
Gorier.
telling my father the day before we went, I want to see this movie. I want to go to the movie theater and see it. He took me, and man, it was worth it. It was really worth it, man.
Yeah.
I think one that's gonna be a cult classic that is actually newer is
Mhm.
Train to Busan.
Yes, that's
Oh,
definitely
yeah.
on track for
Oh,
I
that.
think that one
Oh,
is
yeah.
definitely gonna be a cult classic later on down the road, if it's not already.
See, and
you
I
know,
fear that.
It's an instant classic. I'll give you that.
It really
That-
was.
Well,
I
see, I
agree. That
fear.
movie was. Go ahead, Jack.
I'll say I fear that they're making that Train to New York or Train to whatever,
Yeah,
the
the
American version of
version.
it.
Yeah.
I'm
Train
afraid
to
that
let's
that's
squeeze every dime out of this we possibly can.
exactly. I'm afraid that one's going to be the one that gets to be the laughing stock. Like you get the classic, and then you get the why did they even do that?
Like The Ring.
Right.
When,
Yeah.
when they
Yeah.
did remade The Ring in American version. Yeah,
Although I
um,
did like the American version of The Grudge.
Yes.
I did.
Raimi did that right.
Mm,
But the ring, that fell right on its face.
The Ring did.
yeah.
The Ring
But
did.
I love Train to Busan. You know,
Oh, yeah.
I'm all about the zombies, but I don't think that can become a cult classic. I think that's an instant hit movie.
Exactly.
As far as I can understand it, a cult classic is as a very small group of people that love it. I might be wrong. I didn't actually look it up.
Well, I mean, I think over the years, what kind of happens and over time is it gains more and more people. That's why it survives. You know, if
Right.
you only got these 10 people, they're eventually going to get old and die. So it keeps gaining fans, but at a slow rate. It's a slow burn.
Right.
You know, and
Okay.
that's to me what makes like a cult classic. Like it takes a while for it to take steam, to get its footing, but it eventually does, and then eventually it gets to stop being a cult classic and then just becomes a classic.
Like
that
Big
is
Trouble
still
in Little
referred
China.
to.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a
Big
good
Trouble
one.
in Little- and believe it or not, The Thing.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
film?
Thing?
Yeah, right.
Both of those
Both
were
of
box office
Both of
flops. Both
Yep.
of them.
The original black and white version.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean the original John Carpenter version.
Yeah.
That was a box office flop. It was
That's funny.
because it came out at about the same time that E.T. did.
Wow, that's why.
And people generally thought The Thing was mean. Which I saw E.T. and I wasn't impressed.
Nope.
Yeah,
It
and then
was-
the
it
funny,
was
but the,
nowhere
and then
near
the funny
the
thing
hype.
about that, Jeff, about ET, they made they went on to make a video game that flopped even harder.
Yeah, the Atari 2600 version. I
Yep,
had
exactly. Yep.
it. I had it. Game made absolutely
They-
no
they-
sense.
they-
Damn,
the-
you're
the-
old.
The game that caused the 1983 video game crash. They said.
Yep, I had it, and yeah, it was just one of them dumb. Like I'm wandering around a map that makes no sense, and it's really blocky.
Yeah,
I have
know.
no
I
idea what I'm
played it.
doing.
I played
What
it.
is the point right now? And then you go down a little pit, you find something,
I
you don't
know.
find something, you go up and do it
I
again.
played it. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
terrible.
regretted it.
Yeah.
Now, if you got a copy of that game, you got money.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Right. How you like that?
Wasn't
So
they
now,
digging
I'll
them up
tell
in a landfill somewhere?
Yeah, I think in Albuquerque, New Mexico, I believe.
Yeah. They had
Everyone.
rumors.
He's a
They had
landfill.
rumors there was cases of them buried in a landfill, and they were actually digging them up,
Well,
still in the
Jen,
boxes.
Yeah, the
go
rumor
get
was
us some
that they
cases.
yeah, the
Go get
rumor
some
that was that
cartridges.
they
Yeah, I'll get
buried
right
them.
on that.
The rumor was they buried them because they wanted to hide the failure.
Yeah.
But in reality, they buried them because they had too much stock.
hmm
Well, now I'm gonna give you one of my favorite cult classics. Let's Dungeon Dan wants to jump in here real quick.
No, go for it, Jack. I'll wait.
Go
All
ahead.
right. Well, for me, it's Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Oh,
And
awesome.
Oh,
I've got
Awesome.
the 3-box set because after the tornado, it was a modest collection, but I had plenty of B horror movies that I really freaking loved. But I was wandering around Kroger one day when I first moved into the new apartment, and this was on the shelf, and I was like, "Oh, Killer Clowns, Club Dread."
Another
Haven't
good movie.
watched this one yet. Hadn't brought myself to watch that yet because I'm terrified that it's going to suck probably worse than the Ghost of Sherwood Forest, which is the worst freaking B-rated horror movie I've ever watched in my entire life. And Tom Savini's in it.
Oh,
I
he
have
was in
no
a lot
idea
of
what-
bad horror movies. He's
Oh,
great
this
makeup
was the
effects
worst.
artist, but acting, well, I don't know. His non-horror, what was the one about the knights? You guys know which one I'm talking about? Savini and Ed Harris were playing like medieval knights in modern
That
time.
one. So the ones I remember, the main
Knight
one I
Rider.
remember, of
No,
course,
that's not it.
is that Ghost of Sherwood Forest, and it's literally Robin Hood, and he does just Robin Hood stuff all the way through until something happens. He gets killed, then he comes back as a zombie, and
I haven't seen
you
this
go
one.
from there. Oh, it's absolutely terrible. The acting's horrible. The cinematography's horrible. It's horrible across the board. Like I have never seen one worse. So definitely go check it out. Definitely go check it out. And I've got another one, but I'll wait for my turn to come back around again.
Oh, you might
Dungeon
as well say it
Dan,
now.
what do you got?
Well, I have two in the horror genre. My favorite two would be Killer Clowns from Outer Space and the original Evil Dead.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, this got itself a video game now, though. So is it not starting to cross into the mainstream as?
It is.
Yeah.
But when the Evil Dead first came out, it was a low budget, barely got into any theaters. I mean, it just hit cult classic really quick.
Right. But I heard about Evil Dead in the video game, but video games these days are all microtransactions, so I wouldn't get too excited.
I have one of the Evil Dead video games for PC. I think
yeah?
I played it maybe once and then found something different. I haven't played it since.
Yeah.
Well, the new one does look really cool. I'm gonna say if y'all haven't seen the trailer for it, it looks brutal, violent, bloody, and kind of true to the series. Like it looks like they really worked a lot of the different types of monsters in, got a lot of the actual backdrop, the cabin, all that in there, and then you get to play as Ash or as one of his friends, and it's co-op. So you can actually all team. You can get friends together and team up.
Yeah,
and all go out and go run campaigns.
Yeah, I've seen some gameplay. I've seen it. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a good
vicious.
idea. But I would not want to play as one of Ash's friends. They all die.
Yeah.
Just watch the movie. If you're Ash's
I need
friend,
to be honest,
time's
Dan.
limited.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
all right, who's next?
I guess I am.
There you go.
Go Angel.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you ever heard of Jeepers Creepers. It was
Yes.
released in 2001. Yeah, I
Yep.
remember I got the DVD version went around about 4 years after the release, and I gotta say I was pretty impressed. I was surprised by it. You know,
That was a really good movie.
Yeah, they go to the Florida countryside and they end up in a police station, and it's just jump scare after jump scare. I was pretty impressed by him. I got it, and then I remember that then he made Jeepers Creepers 2 and 3. I mean, not as good as number 1, but the fact that it got three movies, I mean, if they're pretty good. But I could see it being a cult classic now. I would see myself rewatching it if I still had a DVD. That is, I kind of lost it, so I gotta see if I can find it again.
That thing's streaming right now.
Yeah, I wouldn't put too much stock in how many sequels there are.
Yeah, I know, Jeff. I know. I mean, but still, the fact that I even got a sequel, that's it was something. But you're right.
The story of the first one, the way they had that set up about the eyes and everything, that was really well written. And then the whole twist, because they lead you along thinking one thing, then all of a sudden, nope.
See, that's what I like.
And that's some good stuff. But now the later, the sequels, they were good if you want just horror, just got watch people get killed off, whatever.
For me,
but
I gotta have my twist. I love twist. And that's what I think Jeepers Creepers 2 and 3 fell short, and I didn't really find myself enjoying them. In fact, I don't even think I even saw 3. I didn't like 2 that much that I just skipped 3. Well, but like Jeff said, you don't put too much stock into sequels. I mean, as you've seen the hard way.
No.
But Jeepers Creepers, the original, definitely a cult classic. No two ways about it. What's everybody's thoughts on Candyman?
Oh, Candyman! Yeah, that's another one that I saw when I was a really young kid, and it was pretty good. I mean, I haven't seen it in a long time, so I have to rewatch it.
I like the original, if for no other reason than it was so unlike all the other movies that were coming out at the time. It was one of those things like Freddy, the Nightmare on Elm Street. Nightmare on Elm Street was so different than all the Friday the 13th, the Halloweens, or the, this, that, or the other blood splattered.
He had personality.
Yes, exactly. Now, my favorites tend to go old school. I mean, obviously, Plan 9 from Outer Space.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we could have guessed that.
The movie that's so bad, it's great. Another one is actually Jack Nicholson's first movie. It was the original black and white version of Little Shop of Horrors.
Yes.
That, and I'm not talking about the musical. Forget that bullshit. I'm talking about the original black and white, low budget Roger Corman movie that was shot in literally like a day and a half. That's literally how long it took to shoot this movie.
Wow.
And it's hilarious from start to finish. Even
All right,
the low budget
homework.
aspect of it.
Yeah.
The low budget
we gotta see that. Yep.
of it actually worked in its favor.
That's Jack. Homework.
I'm going to be seeking that out. And
as Jack likes to say, we got homework to do.
That's right. Damn it. Get to work.
Jack,
all right, everybody, great show. We'll see y'all later. We got to go over and
not yet, Jack. Not yet.
If we're going back to black and white, I'd have to say the original Body Snatchers. Or the original Invasion of the Pod People, whatever the heck they were called back then. People.
Yeah, I like the Donald Sutherland version.
That was the newer one.
Yeah, that's the one I like.
The one with Donald Sutherland, and I think.
That one was okay. It wasn't bad. I like the original one where everything was,
over the top, super cheese.
Yeah, black and white. The guy. I'm pretty sure he played on a couple of the Twilights. Twilight
Zones. Oh yeah.
Yeah, from back then. But
back then though, everybody had to be on the Twilight Zone.
If you weren't anybody, if you weren't on the Twilight Zone.
Damn right.
Shatner did it.
William Shatner.
I was gonna say Shatner did it.
Yep.
But yeah,
a few of them.
The original Invasion of the Body Snatchers from like the 50s was just phenomenal. It was a really good one for me.
Yes, it was. I like the original. I like the original Thing from Another World. The original black and white Thing from Another World. Although that wouldn't be a cult classic because it made money right out starting it. I think I'm pretty sure.
Well, have you ever seen the one Dylan Dog?
Yes.
I can't. There's more to the title. Dylan Dog, Supernatural Detective, or something.
Something to that. I can't remember.
But it's called Dylan Dog, and basically it's taking place in New Orleans. And you can Amazon. It always says it's unavailable in your region, but it's got a little bit of all the supernatural creatures in it: vampires, werewolves, zombies. And he's like a supernatural detective. He works with all the paranormal, and his partner ends up getting turned into a zombie, and the zombies run all the seedy fast food joints in town. And he finds out that all the food is really bad. Like, finds out that's the only thing zombies can eat is this food, and his partner finds out, no, not hot dogs. This is, finds out that. And if you get a chance, watch that. I mean, it's kind of a cultish movie. It has a cult following, but it's called Dylan Dog.
Okay.
And,
So wait, so they don't eat people?
No. I mean, they just trying to blend in. They're trying to blend. They're trying to blend. The people who run the slaughterhouses for meat are werewolves.
Of course.
My people.
Yeah.
I would
Now
change
there-
that now, but there's no.
If you get a
moon
chance,
and
watch the
whatnot,
movie.
so.
You'll see why it's kind of an underground cult thing. It's got a cult following.
There is a recent one. I can't remember the name of it. It's about shit.
Is it the one with the AT&T chick?
Hang on one second.
Yeah.
Hang on one
Werewolves
second.
Within.
No.
Oh God, that movie sucks so bad.
Really? Was it bad? I haven't got to watch it
Werewolves,
yet.
oh, that sucks so bad.
I was just going to watch it to check her out.
Or maybe it's Shadow of the Wolf. I don't know. I've seen the movie though. It was really quirky.
Don't look at me judgingly, Jennifer. I saw that. I saw that. Glasses. I see why Damien does that now. This is going to be a thing going forward. I can watch all y'all.
Hang on, just talk amongst yourselves. I'm looking it up.
Oh, and here's another one. I don't know if it's a cult classic, but it was a movie that I thought was kind of interesting. It's called Pontypool.
Oh, I love Pontypool.
I've heard that
Canadian.
name, but I've never
That
seen
is
it.
a bizarre little movie.
That's a bizarre title.
Oh
Yeah, for real.
It's about this guy. He's a DJ up in Canada. He's like a DJ on his final job that he can hold, and something is happening to the. It's only taking place inside the DJ booth. There's only a few characters in the entire show, and something's happening to the populace out, and he's trying to. It's odd little movie, but I found it to be pretty interesting.
It was. I loved it.
Yeah,
as a matter of fact, it took me a while. I finally got it on Blu-ray.
Yeah,
but I had to order out of country to get it.
Yeah,
it's in my collection.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now along the zombie line, have any of y'all seen the movie Undead? It's a British movie. It's a UK movie, and it's really campy. And it seems to be hard to find, which blows my mind because I found it, got the DVD for it and everything. I lost that in the tornado. That's something else. Another one of the ones I'm going to eventually replace. Once I get time to stop buying frames for hanging books on the damn wall. But Undead is one of the absolutely best zombie movies I've ever seen, simply because of the imagination. What it all turns out to be is like, oh, yeehaw, what the hell? Okay. By the time you get to the end of it, because it's standard zombie most of the way through, and then all of a sudden everything takes a twist, and you're like, oh no, like what the hell just happened?
This is the one with the zombie fish memory that the main character is having about when it first happens. I don't want to give anything away, but I think we're talking about the same movie. And it is.
The chick that comes back, and she's she was the I guess you call like her the queen of the prom type thing, and she had left, and she comes back. What's on the cover of it? Do you see a like triple barreled shotgun sawed off?
Yes.
Yep. That's the movie.
I'm gonna totally real nine geek out on all you guys. That's an Australian film. It was Australia's probably its first zombie film specifically. And like Jack said, it takes a twist that it just fits. We talked about some of this on episode 5, where I brought up Wormwood, Road of the Dead, and then next week the sequel comes out, Wormwood Apocalypse. So yeah, Australia's been making great horror movies for a real long time. Body Melt, geez, all kinds of really gooey movies. So that's one of the countries I keep my eye on to see what's coming up next.
Hey, well, Dan, the airplane scene. I ain't saying anything else, but you know what I'm talking about.
I know
The
what you're talking
airplane
about.
scene.
Yeah.
That is so messed up.
It was great though, wasn't it?
It was fantastic. So now you all are teased.
Yeah,
Everybody's teased.
Because right
Go
now,
check out
Jack's head,
Undead.
my head, I've seen what's happening. I'm all like, yeah, that is pretty
Yep,
tough.
that is legit. Yep.
All right, Dan. Let's test your knowledge. I couldn't find the damn movie. It came out recently, last few years anyway. It's got
I think it came
Dennis
out last
Leary
year.
in it. It's got Dennis Leary in it. It's about a town where vampires and zombies have essentially been brought into the community. The zombies are like free labor, and and there's an alien invasion. And Dennis Leary owns this manufacturing plant that manufactures the food for the aliens.
Okay, so I thought we were talking about a werewolf movie with the AT&T girl, and I can't quite remember that one. I think it's Shadow of the Werewolf or something, but I think I know which one you're talking about. And if I'm not mistaken, I think it's called Freaks of Nature. Does it have a love interest? Okay.
Freaks of Nature. That's it.
Represent.
That's it. It's pretty damn funny.
It's actually really funny.
Yeah.
And
see, that's why I want to see it, because it was obvious from the trailer that it was a comedy. It was no doubt it was going to be a comedy, but it was a whodunit. You know, who was the one? Which one of them is it, and all that. And that's why I want to see it. Besides, I ain't gonna lie, I do think the AT&T chick is cute. No two questions about it.
I'm not arguing. I've looked at pictures.
Yeah, but that
nobody saying anything.
That werewolf movie you mentioned, don't bother.
The werewolf movie. It's actually really good. It's quirky, but I mean, it's just got that small town feel. Everybody knows each other. Everybody knows secrets.
It does, but it would have been better if the werewolf hadn't been an actual werewolf. It would have been better had it been a human killer.
Oh, you dark
bastard. It left the reveal.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It left the reveal until so late in the movie that it could have been anybody.
Right. But I mean, that's again, they were building up on that trope of it's got to be this asshole here, but you know, it's over here somewhere.
And it has to be a werewolf. I'm looking to find a werewolf in that movie. Jeff trying to take the werewolf away from me. I want my damn werewolf.
They watch Dog Soldiers, dude.
Oh,
I have. I like
that one's considered a cult classic.
Yeah.
Oh,
that was one of my favorite werewolf movies. And you know, they kept saying rumors, we're gonna do Dog Soldiers too. And I'm like, when? And then it's all now at this point they're starting to talk about it again. And I'm like, maybe you should just let this one be.
Yeah, Sean Pertwee's like way too old.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, there's another dog-related movie, classic. It's called A Boy and His Dog.
I know the title.
Early Don Johnson. It's a post-apocalyptic movie about a world where dogs can actually speak psychically with humans. And in this case,
sounds familiar.
And in this case, the smart one of the relationship is the dog. Don Johnson plays an idiot, and the dog is the smart one.
That's something to do with him finding a girl on the waylet. I've seen this movie.
They end up underground in this, prepper community. And it was like Hal Holbrook or somebody like that.
Was that based on the book, Jeff?
think it
I
was,
don't know if it
actually.
was or not. It might have been.
Yeah, because I heard of it. I mean, I haven't seen it, but I've heard of it. I might have read the book a long time ago. It was an older, I think.
Well, shameless promotion for somebody since we're on the subject of dogs and the undead. Nick Rhodes has a novella coming out here really soon called Dog of the Dead.
Oh,
And
really?
trust me, it's very interesting. I got to beta read that thing.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Who's putting that
Yeah,
out?
you told me about it, Jack.
Nick,
Yeah.
Nick Rhodes.
Nick Rhodes?
And NICROADS.
He gave me the audio book. I got to listen to it though. I haven't had a chance.
Dude,
Like I'm listening to some other ones.
Now, I think you may have Dom of the Dead because Dog of the Dead hasn't been done audio yet. He's working on that. So you may have Dom of the Dead, and you might get a little surprise when you listen to that one, by the way.
You
I haven't
will.
started it yet, but
You will.
yeah, once I found out, I was like, oh, it's going to be fun.
It is.
Yep. But my TBR list is simply out of control, man.
So is mine.
Yep.
Here's another good cult classic, written by Dan O'Bannon and
he brain froze
John
again.
Carpenter. Written by Dan O'Bannon and John Carpenter. John Carpenter directed it. It's called Dark Star.
Oh, yeah.
It's about this deep space mission where the ship just goes along and goes through planetary systems where there are unstable planets in conjunction with ones that can be terraformed into Earth-like planets. So their job is to fly through and blow up these unstable planets. And their bomb number 19, has an existential crisis.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was just blocking stuff off.
And
Now watch TV.
I don't know how else to describe it, but it's hilarious.
Live TV.
Wifey just come home, say hey.
Yeah, I saw Dark Star a long time ago. It's part comedy too, right?
It's all comedy. The Beach Ball
low budget.
Yes.
It's almost like a Corman film, but it was actually pretty good.
I think Carpenter and O'Bannon did that while they were still in film school.
Rex, stop.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
Angel, pipe in on the. Give us another one of yours. He's so quiet. I think he's sleeping.
No, I'm here.
All right.
Yeah, I'm here.
Wake up there, Pooh.
Another one. Another movie. I wouldn't say it's a movie. It's a mini series. But have you seen the Naganeers mini series?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the Stephen King series.
That was actually one I absolutely
better than his book and his movie. So.
Yeah, I loved it. I actually loved it. I enjoyed it. You know,
I didn't even know it was a miniseries.
Everything except the special effects.
Yeah,
the special effects did suck in that one.
They suck.
It's funny. We call it a miniseries now, but it was really it was a TV movie spread out over 5 nights.
To me, that's one that should be redone.
Yeah, but,
Could be,
but I don't know. I just like the premise of the Naganeers. You know, you go to an airport, you know, and only to find out you're stuck in the past instead of the present. You know,
and you're in that weird spot, like you can't move, and you're supposed to get eaten. Like, wait a minute,
because the Naganeers eat the past to clean up the past for the future. You know, it's just so crazy, Mike. And then when they try to eat the food, it tastes like nothing. I mean, it's like eating cardboard. Not even cardboard.
Yeah, the sodas aren't carbonated.
Navy food.
And then when they go into the plane, it carbonates because that little piece of the area is still at the present.
And Bronson Pinchot.
Oh,
he did a good. He played a good role.
That was my favorite.
Just loony. He's a complete stress puppy. It's hilarious.
I loved him, man. I really, that was my favorite character. He's in the.
My favorite one of those that Stephen King did was Storm of the Century.
That one surprised me. I didn't think it was going to be that good, and technically it wasn't, but it kept my attention through the whole show.
Well, I love the premise. Give me what I want, and I'll go away.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just a classic example. Give me what I want, and I'll watch it, and I did. I remember watching it when it first came out when I was 5. I saw it when I was 5, and then I had to see it again, and yeah.
I'm always a Salem's Lot fan. The first one. That's my Stephen King TV series.
Yeah.
That I liked.
Okay.
Mine was the Stand.
The Stand.
Oh yeah.
The Stand was actually.
Yeah, I saw that
too.
one time. Yeah, I got to see it again.
That was my absolute favorite.
Yeah, I like that. The remake of it, the new one. I haven't been able to watch more than about 15 minutes of that hunk of shit.
I haven't tried. Haven't tried.
I mean, it's the first 15 minutes they completely changed the story.
Really?
Yeah,
Viral
they changed the beginning of the story. Well, it's a viral outbreak, but the way Stephen King wrote that book was damn near flawless. For Stephen King, that's amazing. It's like an 1,100-page book that's like perfect.
Yeah.
I love the book.
Yeah, and it just doesn't follow the book at all. I got like 15 minutes into it. I'm like, fuck you.
You guys find it funny that only modern times have the industry ever made a good, decent Stephen King movie? All the other movies, I mean, Carrie, that one was great, but I'm talking like Pet Sematary kind of fell short, although I did like it. It was kind of.
Firestarter
the new
wasn't
It
that
was
good.
much better.
Yeah, they're getting ready to remake Firestarter. I saw.
That's actually they've already remade it.
Yeah, I think that's in theaters now.
I think it's coming out in July.
Yeah,
I'd say my favorite was
a bunch
Christine.
of stuff about it.
See,
Christine
I was never a Christine fan, and my co-host over on Real 9, Kevin, just loved that movie. I'm like, okay, it's a car. You can get out of its way. What? I don't get it.
Go up a flight of stairs.
Hey, not unless she catches you in an alley. All she got to do is get you in an alley, and your ass is done.
True, but cars like that have some raised height. You might be able to lay down, let it roll over you, and then run.
That's true.
Oh, you're
Works
just a
in
ninja.
my world, Jack.
I'm running with it.
And if Cujo gets after you, just get a vacuum cleaner.
Well, that's the whole thing. You get away from Christine like that, Cujo gets out of the back of Christine, and you get double
here's
tap.
a question. Does Maximum Overdrive count as a cult
Oh
classic?
my God!
I would think so.
I watched that movie
but a lot of
over
people loved
200 times.
As a director, Stephen King makes a really good writer. Yeah.
That is true.
That
Honey, this machine just told me to go fuck myself. That's like one of the best scenes ever.
Yeah, there's some good twisted humor in that. I'll give you that much. Give you that much. Another one of his, Rose Red, about the haunted house.
It had my attention for a while, and then I just started getting bored. Is anything gonna happen?
It did kind of drag towards the end, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like Burnt Offerings. You're going through it, and all of a sudden you just get a point where you're like, I really hope every fucking buddy dies right now because I'm tired. I'm bored.
Well, hell, going back to black and white, what about the House on Haunted Hill? The old Vincent Price flick.
Oh, that's... No, they remade that one with Jeffrey Rush.
Yeah, I love the remake. I actually like the original.
The remake was good, but Vincent Price is so deliciously evil.
Yeah, he is.
And the old woman.
The old woman creeped me out.
That got me every time. It still gets
every
me.
time.
If we watched it literally right now, I would still go, ah.
Yeah.
every
And
single
then
time.
what is it? They catch her and they're like, oh no, this is the housemaid. I'm like, shit, fire that woman. Or get her a
She
makeover
out
or
of here.
something.
Mhm.
Yeah, she was
Done.
scary. And I love the marionette style of skeleton at the end that drags her into the vat.
Yep.
That's all just great stuff. Wasn't that William Castle doing those movies?
The Chiller.
William Castle movie.
Yes,
All right.
indeed.
All right, who's got the next one?
Cowboys and Aliens.
That one's not bad. That one's
I
not
thought I was
bad.
going to hate that, and I have actually
Cowboys
seen
and
it at
Indians.
least 20 times. It's
Yeah.
stupid fun, and it's
It
got
is.
like the best actors.
Yeah.
including what's his name from Star Wars? I can't think of it. I'm
Harrison
going
Ford.
Jeff right now, man. I'm having a brain fart.
Harrison Ford.
Harrison Ford. Thank you, Tim.
Yep. Indiana Jones himself, Harrison Ford.
Mhm.
There we go.
It wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't bad. It wasn't great, but it wasn't bad.
Yeah.
It wasn't bad. The critics slammed it, but
Oh
the
yeah.
critics could go suck, whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
Choose your orifice.
Yeah. Well, they wasn't getting no kickback, so naturally they're gonna slam it. You know.
Naturally,
Mhm.
naturally.
What you guys think about Donnie Darko? That's a cult classic.
Johnny, that's definitely
That
a
one's
classic.
that one was good. I
That
did
one's
enjoy that.
definitely a classic.
Yeah.
So now, what was it about Donnie that got y'all the most?
The rabbit.
Well, I love the rabbit and the cool chrome rabbit head, but what got me about that movie was I literally got through most of it before I realized this movie's being told in reverse. I mean, you just really had to piece it together, and then when it happens, you're just like, wow, that was the best stuff ever. And I had bought it on DVD, and I pop it out every once in a while and watch it again. So,
Yep. There's a lot of movies like that. I mentioned this, I don't know, a couple of podcasts ago. Dead and Breakfast.
Yep.
Dead and Breakfast. Any movie with a zombie dance number has got my vote.
Hey,
you must have loved-
Michael Jackson's Thriller, baby.
Yep.
Yeah.
You must have loved Anna and the Apocalypse.
That was pretty weird.
That was
pretty
totally weird. I watched it once, and I'm just like, I think I need to drink.
Yeah. I
Jack, what's in the cup?
just
Coffee.
Here.
Sure.
What do you think that was?
coffee with whiskey.
I was hoping you'd hear the pop top.
No,
I
yeah.
got another one.
Hey, I keep mine on ice.
Mm-hmm. Well, I got another one.
Oh, Angel's jumping in.
Yeah, I got another one for you. It's less horror. It's more dystopian. But have you ever seen Escape from New York?
Oh God, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's
Well,
a good one.
that unlike a lot of the other John Carpenter and
Yeah.
If you don't hush,
yeah,
I mean,
the
it could be
pairings
horror
he did,
because, man, you know.
that one made money at the box office.
Yeah.
I mean, even Halloween. When they released Halloween, it basically did nothing.
Yeah,
And then it got
flopped.
re-reviewed. I got like a month or two later in the Village Voice, and it suddenly became a hit.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Well, it's like when they ask him
I mean,
about
it only
Big
had
Trouble
a
in Little
budget of about
China.
$6 million.
exactly.
Escape from New York. They only had a $6 million budget, which is not money.
Not
When
that,
they-
no.
When they asked him about why he never did another Big Trouble in Little China, he said, "Why would I make a second movie when the first one didn't make money?" And the first one didn't make money at
It is
first,
now.
but it
But
does
everybody
now.
loved
It
it.
does
Yeah,
now.
but
Right,
it's,
that's
it's
now,
made.
right? Much
But all
later.
these years later, he's made his money back on it. But you know,
Mhm.
at the time,
But
it
at the heat of the moment, right?
Yeah.
I think he learned his lesson when he did a remake, or was it supposed to be part 2 of Escape from New York? From what was it? Escape from L.A.
yeah.
Yeah.
From
So
that's
terrible.
Escape from
Yeah,
LA.
yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh.
No, I'm sorry.
I did
No.
like the surfing scene. I ain't gonna lie.
Right,
He come
right.
surfing up on CBC me
But
and
it
then
wasn't as
leaped
for
into his
me.
car.
Escape from LA wasn't as memorable.
Well, Escape from New York was at least plausible.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Given,
Right.
given the scenario that they gave you,
Mm.
it was at least
I
plausible.
mean, it was made in
Escape from
1981.
L.A. wasn't plausible at all.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's why I didn't find it memorable. I mean,
No.
Escape from New York, you were still in the middle of the Cold War against the Soviets, so like you
Mhm.
said, that's why it
Could
made a
be
little
it.
sense. It made some sense
I-
there.
I'm still trying to get over Ernest Borgnine's death.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah,
saying,
no.
it
Right.
still
I was
haunts
always
me
a
to this
fan of
day.
that guy too. He was perfect as a cab driver.
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
Yep, but went out pow
Yeah.
like
That
awful.
performance and the one he gave in the Poseidon Adventure.
That's where I first saw him,
Yeah.
Poseidon
Yes.
Adventure. And then I started seeing him in other movies, especially
I
in the
loved him in
disaster.
Airwolf.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, he was the sidekick basically in Airwolf.
Yeah, try watching Airwolf now.
Yeah.
I
And you
have,
go, why the
Yeah.
hell did I like that?
yeah, I
Didn't you
know,
guys
but I
see-
still like the helicopter, man. I still like the
No.
helicopter.
True.
The helicopter's cool.
You guys remember
Well-
that old show, McHale's Navy?
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
49?
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
God,
That's
I
where
love
I
that
saw
show.
him first. That's where I saw him first.
Well, Jeff
With Shell's
probably
Navy.
knows this movie, and a lot of people who are military oriented would know this movie. And would be a cult classic in the military, but it was the Bedford incident.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
And this takes place talking about the Cold War,
Mhm.
and it's basically where a Navy sub hunter is chasing a Russian sub in the polar ice cap,
Mhm.
and it's how they accidentally kick off World War III.
Mhm.
And it just comes down to where everybody's on such a hair trigger. The commanding officer says, well, if he fires one, I'll fire one. And the gunnery officer says, yes, sir, fire one. And he pushes the button.
So
And it's just like, oops. And-
There's
But-
another one called Countdown to Crystal Palace, I think.
mm,
is the
that
name
one, I
of
think
it.
I've seen that one.
yeah.
It's the Joint Chiefs up in the air in the
The flying command post, yeah.
flying command ship. Yeah.
Yeah. And-
During the nuclear showdown. That's a
Yeah.
pretty good movie.
Mm-hmm. And and like I said, that's one military people who are a military genre, but that would be a cult classic. And
I didn't see that Bedford one. Does that mean I have to give my Navy card out?
probably.
Am I safe?
Now, this shows the sixth sense of humor of being in the military. I was on a ship that went to both the Arctic and the Antarctic.
Mm-hmm.
When we went to the Arctic, we always watched Titanic.
Yep.
Okay.
Or at the time, I don't think that the James Cameron one had come out yet, so it was like a night to remember. Black and white classic. The Night
Oh,
to
I've seen
Remember.
that.
Yeah. And then down in Antarctica, it was always the Thing.
Perfect.
Of course. What else could you watch?
Mm-hmm.
But here's one going real deep. Real deep. There is this extreme low budget movie called Strange Things Happen at Sunrise.
I have not heard of that one.
Never heard of it.
It's about. I don't really know what it's about, except
At least he's honest about it.
It
Yeah.
features Goomba vampires. So
What kind of vampires?
Goomba,
What the hell is a?
Goomba,
Goomba?
Italian mobster vampire.
Okay, Jen, you may have to
They
explain
go, hey,
some of this.
Vinny, go get the body bag. Hey, I'm eating here. But that alone was hilarious.
Strange things happen. What?
At
sundown?
At sunrise.
Oh, at sunrise.
At sunrise.
Stranger things happen at
And-
sunrise.
Strange things happen at
Mhm.
sunrise.
Okay, all right,
And
I
it
got you.
features the character of Death, who is the typical henpecked husband of a complete psycho.
Oh, damn.
Oh, it's hilarious. It's just fall down laughing, hilarious. The rest of it's kind of muddied and it's low budget, and it's too long. But just those two things alone make it worth watching. Have you found it, Jen?
I see strange things happen at sundown.
That's it then.
Okay. What happens when normal people find they need to kill in order to survive?
Yeah.
The story of such a group of people suddenly turned into vampires and carving a path of blood and mayhem through New York City. Slowly, they lose their grip on reality and turn into an army of antisocial, psychopathic misfits. Sounds like my kind of movie.
It's good family fun.
Sounds
I think
like
I could work
it.
with that.
Yeah, I got that from the IMDb.
DB. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
Whatever
feel
the
free to
hell
sponsor the show, IMDb.
Yeah, I'm sure that's gonna happen right away.
Yeah.
It's putting it out there.
Any day now.
Yeah. Any
Yeah,
day.
any day, make us famous.
That's right. That's
So
right.
now I want to go back to the Tremors thing. What do you guys feel about the sequels? Because I myself, I'm going to go ahead and put it all the way out there just so I'm done with it. I love every last one of them. To me, it's a
I do
story.
too.
It's like reading you guys' books. I'm reading, each volume all the way out. I love the Tremors storyline.
Have
I'm
you
totally
seen the
with it.
last one? Have you seen the last
Yes,
one?
yes.
The one that's in
And
the back,
I
back in
love-
the West?
No. The last one is what is it? Island of
Shrieker. Is it Shrieker Island?
Shrieker Island.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've seen
Shrieker
it.
Island.
I like
That's-
that one and the one up in the snow. Those were both really.
Oh,
One
that one.
The one right before
Oh.
it. Yeah.
when the freaking graboid comes up out of the air and just dive bombs back
Yeah.
down, and that one, that was just freaking insane.
That was awesome.
I'm a loser. I haven't seen any past the first one.
Oh,
Really?
yes, you are
Yeah,
a loser.
really.
You now have a
Congratulations.
watch list.
Yes.
Yes.
Second
She has
one
homework.
starring,
To be as
second
long
one
as
starring
are.
Fred Ward on his own.
Now you have got to follow the adventures of Burt Gummer and all
Bert,
the
right.
things he
Yeah,
does.
Absolutely.
Old
Bert sticks around because you're thinking when you watch the first movie, Bert's a secondary character.
But
Going
he's the
forward,
only one. He's the only one that's in all the movies.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah. He's
And
in
he
all of
goes
them.
all the way through, and he
Okay.
brings a son in too. By the way,
Yeah. And in
The
the last
son he
one,
didn't know he had.
and he berates throughout all the movies that he's in.
but guys, I mean, just as in a respect for Fred Ward, since we're talking about Tremors, I want to send out a big rest in peace, dude. You were a fantastic guy, and
Yes, he was.
to your family, much love
Yep.
from the Padded Room. We love you guys because man, he was a fantastic actor.
Yes, he
He was
was.
also
But
a really nice person. I got to meet him.
Did you?
Really?
Cool.
Yeah, I got hired to work on a pilot for a show that Walter Hill was going to try to sell, and Fred Ward was the lead character. He was the lead investigator in this particular story, and I got to meet him. And the guy was just so kicked back. I kind of, I met a lot of people on these film sets, and some of them are real assholes. But he's the guy that just come down, he'd sit down next to anybody to eat, and then fart and leave. He was a nice guy. It was one of my favorite shoots. I just really wish that show would have been picked up.
What about Walter Hill?
He was actually very nice. Or either that, or he was just really humored when I brought 6 fake dead bodies through a hotel lobby to the room that we were holding the production meeting in. But he
Don't
was
mind
really
me, boss.
nice.
Don't mind me.
Oh, you should have seen the looks. I couldn't stop laughing, man.
Oh no.
And of course, we did silicone skin, so the things were like 50, 60 pounds. I got 2 dead people on my shoulders. Assistants bringing more. One had to come in by wheelbarrow. Yeah, it was fun. It was fun.
You made me snort on that one. That's bad.
Oh.
Fly on the wall for that bad boy.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna have to. I've started getting all my photos and all my production stuff. I'm trying to clean everything up because I'm throwing away a bunch. But I'll have to make that available to y'all. You get a crack out of those pictures.
Cool.
I got one of my daughters dragging a body on set because we had a half burial. It's like my favorite photograph of my kid.
Oh, you definitely got to get that out of there. Like, yeah, hey, this is the future right here.
Mhm.
Take a look.
That's
She's
it.
gonna be dragging bodies. Don't worry about it.
I was
Family
family into
business.
makeup effects, but she is actually a really good artist, and that's how she makes a living now. But she used to sit there and sling the latex with me, when she wasn't in school.
Now, speaking of dead bodies and cult classics, Dusk Till Dawn.
I
From
love
Dusk Till
it.
Dawn. That's
I
such a
love
great
that.
movie.
That is a damn good movie.
That is such a great movie. I love Robert Rodriguez.
I do
I
too.
hated that Cheech died, though. I'm gonna throw a spoiler out there because I don't give a damn. Because the movie's been out long enough. If you ain't seen it, you're either a millennial or you're screwing up. So that's the part that killed me. I wanted him to be one of the heroes at the end of it.
Cheech Marin?
Yes.
They wanted him to survive for
Well,
maybe another.
Well, technically, he did. He played four
He
characters.
played, yeah.
Well,
And he got the best lines.
Oh yeah. We
I
won't
won't repeat
repeat
Storm,
it. No, we won't repeat it. Out of respect to Jen, we won't go there.
Now, if Ricky was here, I'd go into the whole diatribe just to see what he says, because things come out of his mouth just like he doesn't know what's going. You remember the last show, Jen?
Oh yeah.
I didn't really make memes, but I was going to. All right, I got another movie for you.
Go ahead.
All right, go ahead.
All right, this movie caught my eye, and it would be considered a cult classic. It's called The Night Watchman, and on the poster, you've seen this?
Yeah.
The poster says most men or some men are born to greatness, but not these guys. These guys are like the retards that are all night watchmen, and they have to fight vampires all night. It was great.
That sounds like a fun movie.
Angel, I know you would love it.
Sounds like some of the guys I work with.
It might be streaming on Amazon. I think it's streaming on Amazon. If y'all have
I think it is.
That one's worth watching. It's goofy.
Yes, it is.
So, by the way, remember that movie I told you about last time, The Sadness?
Mm-hmm.
Starting just on last Thursday, that is streaming on Shudder, and people are getting all kinds of upset about it.
Cool.
That's a good thing. Hell yeah.
I
they get
loved
pissed
it, but
off,
it
they're
is
like, yeah, that's awesome.
It goes down the wrong tube, and it doesn't stop. It finds new levels to mess with your mind. But check it out.
I just saw The Lost City.
I did too. You know what? It was cute. It was like Romancing the Stone, only Brad Pitt just made that movie for me on that one.
Yeah, for as little time as he was in it.
It was the best.
It was the best.
Did you see my
problem with it? No, I didn't watch the credits.
Oh, you got Brad Pitt.
Oh, you should have watched the credits.
Yeah.
My problem with that movie was Tatum O'Neal's.
At first, it was for me too, but I think he was just playing his part so well that I was irritated, and then I was almost embarrassed for him.
It was because he started out like such an oofda.
I know, but he kind of was.
But then every now and then he would slip into a normal, intelligent, sensitive guy.
For that moment.
Yeah, for that moment. And it was like, make up your fucking mind, dude. This movie doesn't take place over that long a period of time. Be one thing or the other.
It's one of the better movies I've seen that did not involve beheadings and guts being spilled.
Yeah. Sandra Bullock, I have to say this, is still showing her skill at physical comedy.
Yeah.
Yes.
In spite of her age, because she's got to be, 70?
I don't know. She still looks pretty 50. Good.
Well, this plastic surgery was unfortunate.
God. He just said 70.
She messed with her lips, but I'll do the Google.
But
Hey,
she's
Dude,
guys.
got to be pretty close to that. She's older than
I
I am.
I'd hit her.
Oh
Hey, guys, I
shit.
gotta get
Oh, hell
going.
yeah.
She's 57.
She's what?
Oh, I definitely hit her.
57.
She's younger than
No
me. I'm
way.
older.
No way.
Think she can outrun me? Probably.
Born,
I thought she
born
was-
July 26, 1964.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so.
Fact check like a
I
mofo.
thought she was older than me, but no, I guess not. Still, at 57, the physical comedy, you normally don't see people that old, men or women, doing that stuff.
Makes me
And
sick.
she's still
She
pretty
still
damn
looks,
funny.
she looks so damn good doing it too. It's disgusting.
Hey, guys, I gotta get going. I gotta do a favor for my neighbors. But thank you for having me on the show.
Bye,
Thanks for being
Angel.
here.
Angel,
Yep.
you were the man. Love to have you
Yeah,
around, my
I live
lady.
next to an elderly neighbor, so he needs me to do him a favor. So sorry, guys, I can't stay longer.
It's good to get to talk to you
You're
again.
being a good boy.
Yep. Yeah. Nice to see you, Dan, and nice to see you, Jeff. And I'll be back for another one of these.
Oh,
Just
yeah,
let me
I'm
know.
sure
All
we'll
right.
have you on.
Outstanding.
All right. Take care, guys.
Okay,
Bye,
Bye.
Angel.
All right, Angel. Take
Peace
care,
out,
buddy.
brother.
I like that kid.
All right. And
Yep.
then there
Good
were
kid.
5.
And then
Hey.
there were 5.
You were talking
What's up?
about Shutter TV a while ago, and also what the stuff is being made down in Australia, New Zealand. What was the name of that zombie series that's done by the Maoris? The Maori tribe is taking place.
They
Kingdom.
already,
You talking about Kingdom? No, that's Netflix.
It's on Shutter, but it's like the ancient Maori tribesmen fighting those zombies.
I know which one you're talking about. Hold on, I gotta
can't.
look it
It's
up.
a great series. I'm hoping they're going to do another season. I can't remember the name of it though.
What was it called? I watched that, and it wasn't quite what I expected, but it was actually really good.
Yeah.
And the tribesmen, they were kind of assholes about trying to get them out of that cave.
But it was really good, and I'm hoping they do another season.
All right,
Well,
Nice.
India has actually put out some really damn good zombie movies.
Yeah,
Like,
they did one that I thought was really good. The second one was kind of
Okay, well,
but-
can you remember the name of the first one? Because I can't. Because I'm trying to remember it. Because I want to go track it down.
I had to go on
okay, wait a minute. What are we
Amazon
talking
to
about?
find it.
I can find it. Are you
Indian,
talking about Dead 1 and 2?
That may be it. Where like the zombie apocalypse breaks out in like a small little village in India, and it's starting to spread. But there's some Americans there that were researching things, and they get
It's
caught
called
in the middle of
Dead.
it.
That's part 2. The first one takes place in Africa. Same thing.
Yeah, that's the one I had. Is the Africa one?
And then
because
then the second movie, that one's in India.
yep,
And
'cause that was the
I don't
one that
know
I
if
got.
It's a good movie, both of them. I love them. But there's another one that came out, and I can't remember what they call it, but I think it might be a third movie. I don't even know if it's from the same people. But it was very unique.
It was definitely well done. I mean, they made the creepy scenes like the zombie getting in the camera's, face, to screw with you with what they look like. Then the hero has to fight them off and all that. It was really well done. And that's something else. We're talking about like cult classics. We're not thinking about also, like these small countries out there, or not small countries, big countries out there.
Other countries.
They're doing stuff. Yeah, the other countries. Thank you, smart ass. That are out there.
let's not cause an international incident.
But they're out there making these movies too, and they're fantastic. They're making some really great movies, and it's
TV
like
shows.
Yeah. And so I'm looking like our groups, Written Undead, Asylum of Fear, everything. We got to start trying to drag some of the Indonesian area and the Chinese area and the Japanese area. We got to start grabbing some of them and sucking them into this.
If you can find them, I'll have them on.
All right, I'm going to keep working on it.
Hell yeah.
You need to get to working on it. Everybody get to working on it. Let's get them here. Build a freaking massive community.
There was another Australian show that was kind of like the real world in a zombie apocalypse. It was the
Oh,
set.
I know what you're talking about. Dead
Yeah.
Set from England.
Yes.
And then there's
Yes.
a remake that's almost the exact same thing, only this one's taking place in Greece. And I forgot what the name of that one was. Dead Set is awesome. I caught like
That's
episodes
pretty
off the
hilarious.
internet,
Yeah.
and then I found out it was actually a show.
Mm-hmm.
I
And
think
speaking of shows, I've been doing a weekly movie review for Mar Garcia, which is going worldwide because she's in Spain, I think. I think that's where Mar Garcia is. But this week I was looking around for something recent, the 2021, 2022.
Okay.
And I'm looking at these movies and I watched um, the two Ryan Reynolds movies that came out recently.
Free Guy and
Free Guy and Adam Project.
Adam Project. That was actually pretty good too.
yeah, it was really
I
good.
mean, Free Guy
Free Guy
wasn't
was
bad
okay.
until it got to the end. That end was so saccharine, I almost went into sugar shock.
I did enjoy everything they tried to cram into one fight at toward that last fight.
Yes,
I
yes,
enjoyed that, but then it kind of just went downhill a bit.
yeah, it did. It did. And Adam Project was pretty good. Great people in it. Like Jennifer Garner and Mark Ruffalo and that kid.
Yeah.
That kid was great.
Yeah.
The one who played a young Ryan Reynolds.
Yep.
Perfect. But it wasn't really horror, so I went looking for other things. And so I started watching some of the TV shows that are streaming now. And I went to Van Helsing,
Is that
which I got like 2 episodes into it, and I'm like, why do I care about this? Because the 2 main characters were completely unlikable. And ultimately, I could see that basically this was going to be The Walking Dead with vampires.
Mm.
So I was like, no. And I tried watching Fear the Walking Dead,
Not good.
Underwater, whatever the hell it was, the one with the submarine. And like within the first 15 minutes, I'm like, no,
Over it.
no, because it's got guys in the submarine with beards, full beards.
Right, that does not happen.
No,
That
the
got outlawed
military,
long ago.
yeah, eliminated beards like 25 years ago, more than that, because you can't get an adequate seal for
On
gas mask and oxygen breathing devices, and yeah. So right there, this thing is full of shit. Why am I even bothering to watch? So then I moved on to Halo. Have you seen this? It's just came out. I think there's only 9 episodes posted now. I got through 2 of them, and I'm like, again,
No.
why should I care about this?
Mm-hmm.
I never played the game, so maybe I don't understand, but there are so many subplots, so many, confusing things while you're trying to understand this brand new created world that this takes place in. And it's like, I don't care. Come on, go away.
Yeah, apparently it is pretty much set around that video game. But even the fans of the video game apparently are kind of starting to revolt against it. So they're not too happy with things about it.
Way too much drama. Way too much drama.
Well, Jeff, one that you might want to look into, I think it's Russian. It's called To the Lake. It's literally, I think, 1 season long, maybe 2. Love it. It's zombies. And it gives you such an interesting take on it. But I love it a lot.
Now, is it subtitled?
What's that?
Is it subtitled?
Yes. It's actually dubbed over. So you can do subtitles or dub it over. But I watched it a while ago. I've been waiting for another season
Mhm.
to no avail. But yeah, that one, To the Lake, was a really good one. And I started watching All of Us Are Dead. South
Yeah, that's
Koreans are
another.
doing
Heard
they're
about,
doing
yeah,
Koreans are
dang
they're
things.
knocking
hitting
this
it
out of the
hard.
park.
I haven't
They're
watched that yet, but it's on my list. I haven't watched it yet. I
I'll tell
finally
you
ended
right
up.
now,
Go
a
ahead.
lot of people sit there. One of the criticisms is how many different scenes can you have inside of a school? I think they nailed it. I'm
Yeah.
still in season 1, and I'm really enjoying it because it's not repetitive. It's really not, to me. It's different, it's different scenarios, bunch of kids. There's a couple, you do see outside of the school and stuff like that. So it's not just all inside the school. Majority of it, but it's not all 100% inside the school. But it's a good one. It's a good one.
Well,
But yeah,
I finally ended up with one that I've seen a lot but hadn't watched yet, which is Winona Earp.
ah,
I haven't watched that.
It's okay.
It's
haven't seen it
okay.
either.
It's okay. I mean, in the first place, it prominently features lots of hot women in tight pants, which I'm
That's
a
how we
big
get you
fan
guys
of.
in. That's how we
I'm a
get you
big
guys
fan
in.
of. And it doesn't take itself seriously, which is to me it's a kiss of death for a lot of these movies and shows. They take themselves way too seriously. This thing at least doesn't, and there's a lot of humor mainly coming from the main character. I mean, it's like, you know, it doesn't really blow my skirt up, but considering the other bullshit that I was watching, it wasn't bad. I've also been watching, this is older, but I've also been watching the new Nancy Drew.
Are you sure you're going to admit that to everybody?
What's that?
You
I
really
mean,
want to
He
admit you're
did.
watching Nancy Drew?
He did. He just did it.
he
Yeah,
did.
it's not the Hardy Boys Nancy Drew.
Okay.
It's not. This is Nancy Drew is 19 or 20 years old, and there's a lot of supernatural shit going on.
Oh, so this is
So it's not a straight, kid detective kind of thing.
all right.
It's
Okay.
not bad.
So you can compare that to the new adventures of Sabrina the Witch, which were actually pretty hardcore for, the
I
new
haven't
adventures.
seen I haven't seen that one, but
Oh, yeah, it's pretty
there's
bloody.
a new one called Sabrina that I don't think is related to Sabrina the Witch.
Hmm.
Teenage witch, by the way.
Ah, we're
Whatever.
corrected.
Excuse me for not getting into statutory rape, Jack.
Hey, look, man, they picked the right actress for the job. All right.
All right, here's one for you. Pride and Prejudice and Zombies.
I hated it.
I hated
It
it.
sounded like such an awesome movie.
I didn't even finish it.
Never even thought of watching it.
Good job.
Aw.
Well,
I
you
watched
got
it all the way
full quality
through.
then.
I watched it all the way through once.
Uh,
It wasn't bad, but it's not.
That's a Saturday afternoon. You snowed in. You ain't got no beer.
no, snowed in, ain't got no beer. You literally got two choices.
Yeah, shoot
Watch,
yourself or watch that movie.
Yeah, I'm shooting myself. I'm done. I'm out. Peace out. In fact, hell, nature calls. I'll be back.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's another one of those like Abraham Lincoln Vampire Slayer.
I enjoyed that more,
I
couldn't
but
even
still,
watch that.
The
I
book
tried.
is really good.
Oh, the book was really good.
The book
was
is
short,
really
but-
damn good.
Yeah, the movie
The,
really.
the movie is it's like okay, whatever.
True about
But,
most movies.
I'm hoping with the success of Reacher, I'm hoping they start doing more book series that way. Because what they did with Reacher is one season was one book. And they followed the book fairly closely. because I've read a lot of the Jack Reacher books,
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
and it was pretty close. Wasn't exact because I mean you can't. They're two different mediums, so it can't be a complete exact match. But it was pretty close.
Well, I guess that's a question that I have for you guys. Do you guys like shows and movies that follow the book, or do you want them to have some creative rights?
It
Mix
depends
of
on the
both.
book. It depends on the book.
See, now for me, if you're gonna make a movie from the book, follow the book. And like
Well, yeah.
the Meg irritated my soul because the movie, first of all, Jason Statham, not a good choice. I understand why they chose Jason Statham, but to
Not a
me,
good choice. No.
that was not the person. That was not. I think his name was Dan, or no, I don't remember what the guy's name is in the Meg, but that was not him because I had read all 6 of the books and well, I think there were 7. I'd read them all, and I thought the books were magnificent, but the movie, I wanted to just somebody slit my wrist or give me my gun. One of the two.
Wasn't what was that one? Deep Blue Sea or something like that.
Yeah.
With
I like
LL
that
Cool J.
Oh, I love that movie. Don't y'all dare talk bad about that.
That was a pretty good movie.
That was a good movie.
Yeah, see,
The
I'm
Meg-
terrified of water.
The
Absolutely
Meg
scared to
seems
death.
like the Meg seems like a pale version of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the books were fabulous and phenomenal. And the Meg should have been so much better. And it sucked, in my opinion. I was very disappointed. Just like when they redid it. When they redid it, I was like, I watched it, and my poor fiance, he's sitting there. He's like, "Will you shut up already?" Because the whole time in the first 10 minutes, I'm like, "This is not the book. This is not what the book says." And he's like, "It's a movie. It's not going to be the book." I'm like, "I don't care. They did it after the book. It's supposed to be like the book." I'm a psycho like that. But
Well, when you've got somebody like Stephen King, who is the universally acknowledged king of horror,
yeah,
why the fuck does Hollywood think they can do a better job than Stephen King?
I don't know because you just can't. You're not drunk enough, bro. You're not drunk.
The only thing.
Y'all need to let me
Hollywood-
be the guy fucking deciding what movies get made and which ones don't.
Oh yeah, that's scary.
Trust me.
The
I know a whole bunch of authors all of a sudden got a whole lot of movies getting made.
the only thing that Hollywood does better than Stephen King is the endings.
Agreed.
Because a lot of his endings suck.
They don't make sense.
Yeah. They just, The Mist is the perfect example.
Yes.
Yep.
The ending of The Mist, the movie, is just phenomenal.
That was good.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I didn't feel good when I left the theater, but I was like,
No.
finally, they just took it that level and then left me there.
That is a true horror story.
Yeah.
Yes.
In a true horror story, there are no happy endings.
Nope.
The mark of a true horror story is you get to the end of it, and the first words out of your mouth are, "Oh, that's fucked up." That's a true horror story.
So then what would we call the horror stories which we're used to being? I mean, for example, Zombie Fallout, Guardians of the Apocalypse, Wild-Eyed Southern Boys, all these books. What would we call them, considering they're horror all the way through? You're just churning through horror all the way through. What do you call it when it actually does end with a happy ending?
The thing I love about zombie fiction is that it crosses several genres. Because you've got the horror element, you've got the action element.
Oh yeah.
You've got
the human interest story.
You've got the
Yep.
human interest story.
Buddy
got-
stuff.
You've got comedy if it's done well.
Mm-hmm.
And you also have science fiction. If it's like a virus based zombie apocalypse or whatever. So zombies kind of fall into their own multifaceted category. They're not really specifically just horror stories. Although Night of the Living Dead was, but even that one, Romero made it. That was social commentary.
Yeah.
Big
Sure
time.
enough.
That was social commentary. Just the fact that he had a black guy as the lead
Mm-hmm.
was a
That was
huge
And,
unintentional.
social
and then he
comment
killed
at
him.
the time.
That was
Yes.
unintentional, guys. You do know that, right?
Well, yeah. He hadn't planned it that way. The social aspects of it he had,
Yeah.
and you
It
can
just happened
really
to work
tell
that
that.
way.
And you can really tell that in the original Dawn of the Dead. Because that's a movie about consumerism.
Yeah.
There happens to be a shitload of zombies involved, but it's about
Well, they're consuming
consumerism.
too.
Go ahead, Dungeon.
No, I was just throwing that in there. I'm gonna let Jeff keep going because he's hitting it.
Yep.
He's right. George
Hey.
Romero, whether he admits it or not, every one of his zombies, it all has a different message.
Yes.
Even like Land of the Dead,
Yeah.
that was a whole different.
That
version.
was
Corporate greed.
totally different.
Yeah, that was
Corporate greed.
greed. You know,
Yep.
the whole world's dead, and these guys are still hoarding money. Who cares about money at that point?
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Yep.
That
And it worked. It worked.
So now I got one for you. Let's see. Have y'all seen the movie Rubber?
yeah,
Yeah, we talked about that last time.
Yeah,
I
we did.
I just
Yep.
put it on my list.
yeah. You guys gotta
That
watch it.
has you've got to see this thing because I mean there's a story in it in its own right.
Mhm.
And I'm still trying to figure out what it is because right now I'm just trying to mentally like blow people up with my mind because if I can figure that out, I'll be dangerous. But I hadn't got
Mr.
that one figured
Skinner.
out yet.
Is this the one about the tire?
Yes,
That's about
the
the
one
tire.
with the tire.
Jesus Christ.
But it is so well done. It is
See,
so well written.
I have such a hard time with it because it's not real-ish.
Zombies,
Oh,
It's an inanimate
vampires,
object.
werewolves.
I guess that's where I have a problem because I cannot watch a movie where there's something that look out for that BF Goodrich tire. It's like, to me, I'm just I can't. It's hard for me.
Yeah,
to
but
get-
who says that there isn't a dark spirit off here hiding on the side that's actually controlling that thing and nobody sees it until it finally reveals itself? See, that's
You
where the
put-
writers come in.
So you're a dark spirit, and what you've chosen as your melee weapon is a fucking rubber tire.
Did you see what
that
that
speaks
tire
lazy.
accomplished?
In
What?
transportation,
No,
we
I
call them
just
recap
moved.
tires on the interstate.
I've seen rubber tires do damage in like Final Destination. I believe it was the third or fourth one where they were at the racetrack.
Yep.
That's about the only damage I've ever seen a damn rubber tire do. And
Yeah,
I-
and what they did
believable.
was epic.
it's not.
Mhm.
I'll give it a go, but I can't promise it'll last more than 15 minutes.
Stick with it because it's going to be the weirdest thing you have ever seen.
It's already
Brother,
the weirdest thing I've ever heard.
Well,
It's-
yeah, but
it's-
what about,
it's just
what about
weird.
something like Attack of the Killer Tomatoes?
Mm.
Yeah,
That's a damn good one.
Nothing
That's a
realistic
damn
sounds
good
about
like a
that.
nightmarish Veggie Tales to me. That's all it sounds like. It sounds like the
But
satanic.
it's hilarious. It's hilarious. Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's nothing realistic about it, but it's
you have to
I've
pop
hilarious.
their
already
damn
got an
noses
issue
to
with
kill 'em.
Clowns. Thank you very much. I don't need more.
They have a gun that can literally shoot you and turn you into cotton candy.
Exactly. And you don't eat the
And then they-
popcorn, it eats you.
Then they stick a straw in the side of the cotton candy and slurp you right out.
Not just a straw, a curly straw.
A
Mhm.
curly straw.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
That movie was one of the
Details
funnest
matter.
movies to watch.
That's one of my favorite movies of all time, by the way. I
You
love
guys are killing me.
Jaws is still my number one. Friday the 13th Part 3
In 3D.
is my number 2. But Killer Clowns from Outer Space, that's my number 3. I can watch that movie over and over again. And I've got the title track for that movie saved in my iTunes. I jam to that damn thing. There is a title song for that done by the Dickies, an old punk rock band. And it is badass as hell. My
IQ just dropped 10 points. Not that it was very high in the first place, but come on.
Yeah,
Shit,
we're not talking about the color purple here, folks.
Evidently.
No, we're
good
not.
thing.
This is not the place for those Grammy Award winning or
Serious
Oscar
movies?
winning movies. No.
Now here's
But Killer. Go
here's
ahead.
one for you. Bong of the Dead.
Oh, Jesus.
The original.
Bong of the Dead.
Yep.
That sounds like Dazed and Confused. Or
I'm a gong.
what, is that
Gong.
Dazed and Confused? Or what movie was that?
It's
Where they're all
about
high.
this bunch of friends that have been hanging out since high school. They're older now. They're in their 20s. And they've always, sat around getting stoned and joking about the zombie apocalypse. Well, one day, it happens. So these guys poured up in their house with a shitload of pot and just kind of waited it out. And which by itself is a funny premise, but there's actually a great human through line that goes through it. I don't want to give away the ending, but
No.
It sounds
It probably doesn't end well.
Well, no, it doesn't. But there's a good emotional through line to it. It isn't just a bunch of stupid people sitting around getting stoned.
No, actually, that kind of is.
It kind of is. It kind of is, and it has to be. It's called Bong of the Dead.
I thought it was great.
I did too.
made by Cheech and Chong Productions.
No, that's Evil Bong with Tommy Chong in it. And there's like 18 of them now, and none of them are really that great.
Oh, Jesus.
Well, you guys want to hear a great horror weed movie? Hansel and Gretel Get Baked. That one's great.
Oh.
I've seen that. I haven't watched it, but I've seen it advertised. No, I don't know yet.
I found it to be a lot of fun.
Okay.
They actually took it serious. They didn't try to just, goof off. There's a serious story. Everybody does a good job.
Okay.
I don't want to give any spoilers, but I saw that one. Go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead. Finish your statement.
Oh, I just enjoyed it so much that I bought it as soon as I could get it.
So now, with 28 Meters Deep, the shark movie, would that qualify for this? Because I know it didn't get a whole lot of views from what I could tell.
I would say that's scary as shit for me.
Yeah, it freaked me the fuck out.
Does it have a following though? I watched the first one.
I don't think
Meters
it
Down.
really does. I think it's kind of like either into like shark scary movies or you're not. And like to me, I'm into shark scary movies because they scare the shit out of me.
Well, me too. That's why I watch them. But there's just so many crappy ones. That one wasn't crappy.
No, it was not.
Everybody kept complaining about the end, which I don't get because I'm not going to give any spoilers if you haven't seen it. But
yeah, exactly. Because I was about to almost say
I got it. I'm just like, this is not really happening, and then they show you what's really happening.
Yep.
But I think
it makes sense.
And stuff
it all makes sense. It all makes sense then.
But that brings us to kind of the exception to the cult classic rule. Because these things made money from the get-go, and they shouldn't have. Mm-hmm. Sharknado.
I love me some Sharknado. Oh, God. Yes, I can talk for another 2 hours just about Sharknado.
I watched the first one. I got the humor of it. And then, the other 92 that came out, I couldn't.
I couldn't either. But I wish I could have been a fly on the wall during the original pitch meeting. for that.
Oh, that
movie.
would have been entertaining.
That would
I
have
have
been
no doubt
entertaining.
the writers had a great time sitting around figuring out, okay, which one, what icon are we going to kill and how's he going to go?
There was a movie created by. Now here is a bizarre combination: Jack Nicholson and the Monkees, called
What?
Head. There's a movie called Head that was written and created by the combination of Jack Nicholson and the Monkees. They sat around one day getting stoned out of their minds, and they came up with this movie, and you could tell they were stoned out of their fucking minds when they made this
I don't think it was all four of the monkeys because Nesmith sure he seemed like he had a stick up his ass. The other three, I could see them getting stoned.
Nesmith had a stick up his ass, but yeah, the Monkees had a special room in the studio where they could go and get stoned. All four of them. Because that's what they did.
I was a Peter
And their
Tork
break.
guy.
They just sit and get
Peter was fun, wasn't he?
stoned.
Yeah.
That was a bizarre little movie.
Head.
I'm writing it down.
That is out there. That is an out there fucking movie.
Yeah,
you got a year? By chance?
It's got to be in the early to mid 70s.
70s? I'll just put that.
Probably late 60s even.
Okay. Yeah.
It's way back there because Nicholson got famous when he did One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, which was early 70s.
Yep. All right. Well, Tim Brooks, just because you've been quiet for too long, if you could write a goofy, kooky, makes no sense story, what would your premise be? Once again, I asked the impossible question.
Especially from the one guy who doesn't do any writing.
Exactly. I can see the forest for the trees.
Well, I had a weird dream a while back where I was hunting lizard men with a giant chihuahua.
I'm seeing chihuahua ass right now, by the way. That's a sexy ass, by the way.
Yeah. But no, it was a weird dream I had one time. I believe it was when I had corona. And but I was in the swamp hunting the corona bug. But I was hunting lizard men in the swamp, and I had a giant chihuahua with me.
There goes that tail.
Yeah. She thinks she's getting ready to get a treat. So. Yeah.
This is a Chihuahua family, so.
Yeah. That's my little aggravation right there.
That's just it. It's your pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Trust me, I'm looking forward to when I finally get my next pain in the ass. I said I'm going to bring myself to do it because I've lost a few. Took me a minute to even get the cat that I got now. So
yeah, I had always had big dogs, and when my last one was getting ready to go out,
he's coming down.
Yep, Mama come home and she had this little thing, and I'm like, "What in the world am I going to do with this little thing?" You know. And now you can see where she's got.
You said, "Oh, what did you do?"
It's like a little fruit bat.
Hands out.
Yeah.
Like a little fruit bat.
That's my little buddy. But no, it's like I've talked about maybe trying to play around with doing some writing because like I say, I'm in law enforcement. I worked in the jail for 20 years. I do transportation. I love the zombie genre, and I'm like, I don't have writing skills, but I've thought about doing like a timeline of a incident report of like a breakdown of what happens from the time you go on duty to when it starts and how the individuals on the shift would react in a timeline for like a 12-hour shift, the first 12 hours.
Yeah.
Of this
that would be cool.
because that's how it would break down. Because I mean, it's a narrative of how
Pretty much
how it broke down. Because you would have to come back later and put down, in your own words, your account of the events that led up to. It could be a week later after the event, a year later. It's in your memoirs. But that's the only way that I could write.
And then work the personality of your character.
That's essentially the way the book World War Z was written.
Yes.
The movie sucked. The book is awesome.
Oh yeah. And
if they had made the movie
yes.
like the book, it would have been
incredible.
They
could take that book and make a mini series that would blow Walking Dead slap out of the water.
Easy.
Yep.
But I've thought, if I could write it down in an event like that, like, the first 12 hours, because we work 12-hour shifts, and it's like how the people on the shift would handle an outbreak like that in the facility. Because, you don't have guns in there. Yes, I carry a gun, but it's in a lockbox.
Right.
Somewhere else. And I know most of the people on the shift have shit out in their vehicles. And, we all know tasers ain't going to work on a zombie. But, which I think is kind of weird because, zombies, tasers are neuromuscular. They work on muscle groups. They don't work on the nerves. They work on the muscle groups. Okay, zombies still move. They have muscles that move. It's going to lock them up for that 5 seconds, which is going to give you time to pile on them.
Yeah, that's the one thing I really don't like about the undead zombie part of the genre, is it ignores human physiology completely.
Yeah.
Yeah, because in some of them, you can actually do what you just said, zap them. But it's like, now the only thing that matters is their brain. So they just got to keep moving, but they're jerking. As they move along.
But like I said,
I've read that in books.
The tasers work on muscle. You hit here and you hit here, and it's going to stun everything between the two probes.
Yeah.
So it's gonna lock it up.
And muscles work on electricity, essentially. It's electrical impulses going through the muscles.
Yeah. And I also thought about, you never really, you hear about it spoken of in some books, but nerve agents being used. Okay. Everything back here in the monkey part of the brain, or the lizard part of the brain, okay, neurons are firing back here. All right. They say aim back here, destroy the brain. Well, neurons are still firing back here, but things like RDX, nerve agents, they attack that. Okay, so you would have some limited success with nerve agents. The only problem with nerve agents is they're still going to be out there long after they're used.
True. Well, theoretically, if you use some kind of psychoactive drug in like a mist form, that would theoretically would work on zombies.
Yeah.
But it would, but not in your standard zombie fiction. It just wouldn't happen.
And it's like in World War Z in the book, when they're talking about how they were trying to close the bridges in Russia, and the civilians are still flooding across. Well, they use a very Russian approach to find out who's got the virus. They RDX the population, and the ones who have the virus reanimate. So you just wiped out the population of the city.
But now we know who's who.
Every 10th one has the bug. So it's a very Russian way of looking at things. But and you're right. There's different ways, things that are overlooked in some books, and and I know it's got to be for the sake of the book and the sake of the show, but I'm like, I believe I'd approach that just a little bit differently.
Well, yeah, but fiction absolutely relies on the suspension of disbelief.
Yeah.
It has to. You
Yeah.
have to suspend your disbelief. Well, how
Yeah.
can you suspend that disbelief when you're faced with something
Hmm.
that you know isn't right?
Right.
You know it ain't right.
Hmm.
Like for me, it's details about jobs that I've done that they get wrong.
Hmm.
Details about ships or about the military or
Hmm.
about truck driving or about construction, things like that.
Hmm.
I know these things because I spent years doing them.
Yeah.
So when I see them in a book or I see them on a movie, and they're clearly wrong, it just stops me completely out of the story,
Yeah.
and
And
I might as well be watching commercials.
it's like decapitation. Okay, yeah, decapitation is a viable form of doing it. But they talk about how the jaw's still clamping, And now I'm not a doctor, I mean, witch doctor, but I'm not it's, the mouth's still clamping. Well, I'm like, okay, the head's cut off, so all these muscles are severed. How's the jaw still clamping?
It wouldn't be. Now
You
they did back during the French Revolution, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But
the
now
eyes
wait,
will still twitch.
One of the things the sick bastards used to do
Yeah,
at
the
the
eyes will still
guillotine,
twitch, but
at the guillotine, is they would lope the person's head off, grab it out of the basket, and immediately stare into its eye.
Mhm.
well,
The eyes would
that
still
brings
be
up my
looking around.
question. Why would okay, let's say the head don't die, it still can't chomp its mouth, but would the brain still be functioning?
the
For a
brain is
very
usually the
brief
last thing to
period of
die.
time.
So
The
it would
brain
be looking at
requires
you.
the brain requires oxygen
Yes.
to function. If you cut the head off, you're not going to have oxygen. But until the brain dies, it is still technically alive. And
So when you're holding
the muscle groups
holding
for
that
the
head,
eyes are all up here.
Mm-hmm.
Cutting off the head isn't going to affect those muscles. You're still able to get the electrical impulses from the
Mm-hmm.
brain to move the eyes around, but you
so
wouldn't be
I
able to move the
so
jaw.
theoretically I could hold my boss's head in my hands and at least for a
Yes.
second be like, "Fuck you."
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Good
Well,
stuff.
that just went dark.
Yeah.
What? It's the padded room. What did you expect?
We've actually been fairly well behaved. We haven't gone
Yes.
anywhere near,
We're still on topic.
which is
Yeah.
bizarre. We should have gone flying off topic a long time ago, but it is a pretty large topic. There are plenty of cult classics out there. Let's talk about books that are cult classics. For me, I can come up with two right away. One is the first book that really turned me on to reading horror, which was Ray Bradbury's Something Wicked This Way Comes,
Mm.
which is not, an immensely popular fiction book, but still incredible. The second would be John W. Campbell's Who Goes There, which is a novella from which they got The Thing.
Hmm.
The writing is okay, but the concept is so awesome that it's incredible. And the third would be the last book written by a guy by the name of Roger Zelazny, who wrote a book called One Night in the Lonesome October.
Hmm.
And it's about, the characters are Jack the Ripper, Sherlock Holmes,
Jackson.
Dr. Frankenstein and his monster, Dracula, Rasputin, and the narrator of the story is Jack's dog.
It's a chihuahua, I guarantee you.
No, he's like a mutt, I don't know, terrier or something.
That's
But you
small
hear
enough.
the story is told through this dog and a cat and a rat and a snake that are the familiars of all these other characters. And there's a Cthulhu connection, and it's pretty awesome. I highly recommend that book.
Nice.
Anybody else got him?
Well, I had to look up cult classics in books because I never realized. I mean, I'm sure I realized at some point that there was, but I think the first one for me, which surprised me, is Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Oh, that's so cool with the
Oh,
dolphins
yeah.
leaving because they're smarter than
Yeah.
the rest of us. Yeah.
Yeah, I picked that book up when I was on Westpac, and I loved it,
Oh, yeah.
but I didn't know it was a cult classic.
Well, it doesn't really fit into any genre.
No, that
It's
thing's
sort
all
of
over the
science
place.
fiction, but not really. It's a comedy, obviously, but there isn't really a comedy genre within fiction. Not per se, anyway. But yeah, definitely. Hitchhiker's Guide, incredible.
When I looked through a big list of the top 50 cult classic books, that's the only one I'd read. Was that one?
I haven't seen that list.
I've tried to read Catcher in the Rye and what was the other one? The One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Tried to read them, but I couldn't.
I got halfway. One Flew Over, but I never finished it.
1984 was one of my favorites.
I saw the movie.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, one of my secret hideaways is Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Now, you can read it one of two ways. You can go with it with the original version, or you can go with it with the more English version. And I recommend the second one because the first one will fuck you up. Like, literally, it makes no sense as you read it. But by the second one, you get it. And Iron Maiden did a damn great job of actually putting that one to music. But have any of you guys found any secretive musics that follow what you love to read?
You love a playlist?
Yeah, like, where a band took a book or a story and turned it into a song.
Yeah.
Well, there's Led Zeppelin. Led Zeppelin has a few songs that covered Tolkien, Ramble On, and what was the other one? What the hell is that?
That's not me.
Not me. It's him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's him. Now we
I
know.
poke
Must be coming from the television.
Yeah, I'm looking at this. I'm looking at this list of top 50 cult classic books, and Thus Spoke Zarathustra is on it. That's freaking philosophy. That's Frederick Nietzsche. It's like, what? There is an interesting cult classic book that follows along those lines.
Damn.
Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance.
Really?
No, you
the
gotta
title?
read. You gotta read that one. You have to read that one.
So what? Zen
I'm
and the
writing
Art.
that down.
Yeah.
Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance is a semi-autobiographical story.
Okay.
About a guy, Robert Persing, going on a cross-country motorcycle trip with his son, who himself suffers psychological problems. And Robert Persing was a professor of philosophy at the university in Bozeman, Montana. And he drove himself insane trying to come up with a definition for quality. We all know what quality is, but how do you define it?
You can't.
You can't. So he drove himself insane doing this. That actually happened. He ended up in the asylum. He had shock treatments, the whole 9 yards. But
Damn.
this is a story about him going on a cross-country trip with his son, who himself was, kind of losing it. and ended up committing suicide later in life. But the book it's one of those books where you read it, then you stop and you read it again to make sure you really appreciate what he just said. It's a very smart book. It's one of those books that makes you think while you're reading it. But yeah, Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance.
Well, I wrote it down on my list. I'll have to find it.
Yep.
This is us. Naked Lunch, Artha.
Now, hey, I saw Naked Lunch listed as well on my list. Is that the same as David Lynch's Naked Lunch movie?
I don't know. It's William S. Burroughs. A trip in a boat banned all over the place for its obscenities and profanities and needle drugs.
That might be. Have you guys never seen Naked Lunch from David Lynch?
Weird. This cult novel has a cult film to match, so maybe it is.
I'm gonna look that up.
Atlas Shrugged, which is, I don't know if it's a cult classic, but it's.
Critters.
I wouldn't call that. Stranger in a Strange Land. Okay.
What about Slaughterhouse 5?
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Man, screw all that. Critters.
The movie
Fucking
Critters?
Critters is one of the greatest freaking series of all time. I grew up on that. That's where I'm 47. So man, when Critters came out at my age, oh, that was the stuff. Especially when they did the big ball and they all combined and they rolled over the guy and just, and there wasn't nothing but the skeleton left. Oh yeah.
Now, Slaughterhouse 5.
Yeah.
Here's the story behind that book. Kurt Vonnegut was drafted into the army, went to Europe right just before the Battle of the Bulge.
Okay.
And he was taken prisoner as a prisoner of war. They brought him to Dresden, and he was in Dresden as a prisoner of war when the Allies firebombed it and killed like 90 or 100,000 people. And what the Germans made the prisoners do in the aftermath was clean up all the bodies. So this book, Slaughterhouse 5, was Kurt Vonnegut's method of dealing with what he went through in Dresden.
Wow.
Now, being Kurt Vonnegut, that means what it is the story that takes place in 3 timelines. One is the main character, Billy Pilgrim, in Dresden during World War II, during the firebomb. Second is Billy Pilgrim as like a hardware salesman in Indiana in the present day. And the third is Billy Pilgrim as the inmate of a zoo on the planet Tralfamadore.
That's insane.
It is insane. It is insane, but it's also one of the most profound anti-war statements I've ever read.
Yeah.
I never could finish the book. I was trying to read it like when I was 17 years old.
Yeah,
I couldn't quite keep up with the 3 different slides going around.
Yeah.
So then I thought I'll watch the movie with Valerie, whatever her name was.
Bertinelli.
No. Valerie Perrine. She was hot back in the day, Jack.
Oh yeah.
But I'm telling you, nude scene.
That's what he remembers.
I was young.
I would
I'm
remember
59
it
and I
too.
still remember it like I saw it yesterday. But I was still confused about the whole movie. I'm just like, okay, now I get that I'm watching this, but it's like the movie didn't start this way. How do we get to this point?
Yeah.
Now I know because Jeff just gave us the background.
Kurt Vonnegut is one of those writers that you can't make movies out of. They tried 3 different ones. They tried Slaughterhouse-Five, Breakfast of Champions, and Mother Night. Mother Night was about a person who ended up doing radio broadcasts for the Nazis in Europe. They didn't have a choice. It was do this or we'll kill you. And, in the aftermath, he's branded a traitor or whatever. That's what Mother Night's about.
Mm.
Breakfast of Champions, God only knows what that book's about. But it's hilarious. Oh, that's such a good book.
So now, is Kurt Vonnegut not a tragedy in his own right? I mean, like, he should be
Well, yeah, 'cause
famous by now.
he is his own cult classic.
Mm-hmm.
He is his own cult classic. They even made the Rodney Dangerfield movie Back to School.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a cameo.
Yeah, where he hires Kurt Vonnegut to write a paper on Kurt Vonnegut, and the college professor says, "You clearly have no idea who Kurt Vonnegut is."
Yeah.
We need to get him on the show, by the way. I'm throwing it out there.
That would be tough because he's dead.
Yeah. If you
Jack,
pull out all
it's
connections,
the
though.
padded room. We can find somebody to portray.
You never know. You never know.
Have you ever heard of an author by the name of Barry Sadler?
Yes.
No.
Okay, Barry Sadler was a former Special Forces Green Beret in Vietnam. He is the one who wrote the Ballad of the Green Berets song.
Really?
Yes. And he wrote a series of books called about a man named Casca, or Casca the Eternal Mercenary. The book is centered around the Roman centurion who thrust the spear in the side of Christ. Okay, he was just a Roman soldier who was coming off of a drunk, and he was up on Mount Golgotha, and all he wanted to do was to put this poor Jew out of his misery and go back to the barracks. So that's why he stabbed him. And basically Christ says, "Soldier, what you are content to be, and so you will be until we meet again." So Casca is doomed to be a warrior throughout history. And it's a long series of books. And it has a cult following, primarily among the military types. But if you can ever get a chance to get them and read them, they are extremely well-written books. And you can tell the man has researched, because he goes all the way from the time of the Romans all the way up to Vietnam, to where this guy fights in every type of war that mankind has waged.
Well, essentially, George Patton in literary form. That's what Patton believed.
Yeah. And
he was reincarnated from all these great warriors throughout history.
Yeah. And, and from time to time, his spear will show up, and he's like, "This damn spear is doomed to curse me," And it's, and Sadler was a great author. And he unfortunately, and the story of Barry Sadler, he wrote a lot of articles for Soldier of Fortune magazine. And he was actually doing a weapons deal down, I believe, in Guatemala back in the 80s. And rumor has it that he shot himself. But he was actually competing against some Israeli weapons merchants for a contract. And he was found in his office with a bullet wound to the head. The publishers of Soldier of Fortune magazine hopped on a private plane, flew across international borders down to Guatemala, took him out of the hospital, and flew him back to Tennessee.
Hey, home state.
Yep, he ended up dying eventually, but they're like, "No, he's one of ours. We're not going to leave him down there." They flew him back, and but he was he was a hell of a man. And,
And
But-
on that note, we are at the end.
Hey,
So-
Jeffy.
What?
Can I do the outro?
Well, yeah.
It'll be sexy.
good
It'll be
night,
sexy when I do it.
sweetheart. Well,
right, ladies and
it's
gentlemen.
time to go.
He put the sexy outro music on the whole situation. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, all y'all hanging out here in the padded room with us this week. I am Jack Childress. I get to hang out with some of the most fantastic people week after week after week after week. Jeff Thompson, where can we find you?
Apparently hiding from whatever that alarm is.
I was wondering about
Oh,
that. myself.
that was my prompt on my phone. I can't hear really good, so I got to have something really loud and annoying. It's the purge horn.
I
Well,
like
trust
it.
me, you have me now. I'm loud and annoying.
It freaks the inmates out when my phone goes off. So
I bet. They're like, shit, what's happening?
The Purge.
Purge.
Okay, so you can find me here. You can find me on YouTube. You can find me on Twitter. You can find me freaking everywhere. Matthew Crow, my amazing narrator, is finally working on book number 8, The Smell of Zombies in the Morning. So we'll have an audio version of that soon. He's 50 chapters into it. So,
Nice.
So coming soon.
All right. Let's go right down to Dungeon Dan. What are you doing down there, man? What you plan on doing?
I'm covering for the weekend at job, but you can always find me at Real 9 Horror Group on Facebook. Other than that, you just find me hiding out in my little hidey hole room watching horror movies. I do want to give a shout out that next week we get book 17, Mark Tufo's Zombie Fallout.
Yes, we do.
Not you all, but I pre-ordered. I'm just dancing little circles waiting. Oh, and I also pick up Javid's new book in his series.
Yeah, that'd be book 9, Zombie
9.
Upheaval.
Yeah.
Yep, he's going to settle things with the Nash and also give you some Mosodes. Always a good time. Except for the booger part. I'm still kind of conflicted on that one. That was a little gross.
It's boogers and poo, man.
Yeah, there's things happening there.
No. I think book 4, the PV sex and the poo, I'm just like, good Lord, this guy's demented.
He can't be mental. All right, Tim Brooks, man, what the hell you got going on coming up this week?
Got a couple of prison runs I got to do next week. And next Saturday, I turn the big 6-0.
Ooh,
Nice.
birthday.
Happy birthday and
Welcome to
early
the club, buddy. Welcome to the club.
And I just want to say thank y'all for having me in. It's been very enjoyable, and I would really look forward to doing it again in the future.
Hey, we'll definitely have you back, man. No question.
And Jack, you just across the state line over in Tennessee, and I'm going to try to get out to the Bigfoot thing next week. I'm over here in Central North Carolina.
Man, we'd love to see you come to it, man. Me, you, Richard Ryan Rose, and apparently Jen Amato is planning on showing up that thing too.
Jen Amato is planning on going next year.
Yep. Right. We're gonna pack the cabin, have us a damn good time.
Yeah.
But can't totally leave this show without getting everybody. Jen Amato, you are writing a book.
Yes.
Yes.
I am in the middle of writing a book right now. I'm really excited, and hopefully I'm working on it today, but hopefully I can get it out before the Sasquatch thing next year. So hopefully, fingers crossed.
Looking forward.
All right, guys, I've said my part. This is my big sexies show. So, Mister, my guy, the one and only Jeff Thompson, get us out of here.
Hoorah!
Thanks to everybody who took place in the panel today. Sorry we couldn't have our UK contingent, but we've got the shades, so somebody's gonna have to come up with a fuzzy coat.
I'll work on it.
Cover for Ricky, but
I'm not going
Too
to be able
hot
to sport it like
in
Ricky,
Arizona
but
for
very few people can pull that off. I'm telling you. So Ricky, get better. Damien, don't get too drunk tonight.
Drink
and
one for me.
There you go. And everybody else, thanks for showing up. I haven't gotten any comments because Facebook did something bizarre on me, but
are you in jail again?
It's
Yes.
Facebook. We'll post it and we'll catch them later.
It'll get posted. So until next time, take it easy, folks. Thanks for showing up.
Thank you.
We
Love
are
you
out
guys.
of here.
All right, folks. Be good.